The Man with Too Many Eyes. Visiting a Fellhampton house was the final thing on my holiday agenda that day, and, it being winter, it was already dark by the time I arrived. This suited me just fine, as the warm lamplight bathing the house gave a cozy air to what could otherwise have been an austere, cold-looking facade. I entered the building through an oak and marble hallway and meandered from royal bedrooms to grand dining rooms, following the route laid out in the visitor's pamphlet. I stopped occasionally to snap a photograph or two on my little disposable camera, which were more commonplace at that time. Everything is digital nowadays, of course, no more running out of film or waiting to have your prints developed. I was able to get some good pictures, as the late hour meant that most visitors had already been and gone, and I didn't have to worry about someone blundering into my shot. I had been in the house for about an hour, and was thinking to myself that my tour must soon be coming to an end when, as I strolled down a long empty picture gallery, a room off to the side caught my attention. It was very brightly lit, much more so than I had seen elsewhere, and, in the doorway, I saw a velvet rope. There had been many of these throughout the house, blocking entrances and elegantly indicating to visitors that some areas were off limits. This one, however, was only hooked up on one side, with the rope trailing aimlessly on the floor. I guessed that a member of staff had perhaps been obliged to pass through and had not yet returned, and I certainly did not really believe that this room was suddenly open to visitors. However, it also meant that I had a pleasing opportunity to have a look into a restricted room with a good excuse for being there, should I be discovered. I approached the doorway and stepped carefully inside. I'm not really sure what I expected to find, the space in use by the resident family. A hoard of fascinating curiosities, perhaps. However, to my slight disappointment, the room was empty. There was a wooden door in front of me, slightly ajar, and on the wall to my left, another doorway was blocked by an iron grate, bolted securely to the stone. I looked at it, puzzled. From markings on the stonework beside the doorway, it seemed as though a normal door had once hung here. Why it had been replaced with this ugly lump of metalwork, I couldn't begin to guess. On the other side of the grate was a short, narrow hallway, also brightly lit and bare. After a short distance, it dropped away down a staircase to who knows where. Servants' quarters, perhaps, a cellar, a dungeon. Did stately homes have dungeons? Probably not. I walked over and peered through the bars, standing on my tiptoes to see if I could see any distance down the stairs. And then, I nearly jumped out of my skin when a voice behind me said, "Careful, love, like for part 2.